In the last live stream, we helped a viewer eliminate over $51,000 in debt, and we showed you how to do it in less than 16 months. Right. Now, we had to find leverage, right? And everyone's situation is unique. So this was where this person's leverage is. But really, the power was in information. That's the only difference between what they can do over this next 16 months and what they had been doing for a really long time.
You cannot do velocity banking without positive cash flow. So we had to create a situation where we had to inject some cash to be able to create a positive cash flow situation, which required us to eliminate a retirement account to do so.
What? Yeah, and we both felt very different about that.
Absolutely. And I want to start this off with, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a tax attorney. This is not financial advice. This is absolutely my perspective, approach, opinion on how to eliminate debt. Now, the fact that it works is the fact that it works. That's just math. But the moral of the story is, it is not a small decision to make to take your retirement account, deplete it. We withdrew, we eliminated, we canceled, obliterated. I don't know what word you want to use, but we took all of the money out of that 401k and those IRAs to eliminate debt, to put yourself in a much more positive cash flow position, to then all of a sudden turn around and then rebuild your retirement.
This is more like a wake-up call. This is the come to Jesus.
The 401k is one of the only products that Americans buy that they don't know the price of it. It's also one of the products that Americans buy that they don't even know its quality. It's one of the products that Americans buy that they don't know its danger. And it's because the industry, the mutual fund industry, have been able to protect themselves against regulation that would expose the danger and price of their products.
You say it all the time. We don't know what we don't know. And so we continue on with the information that we do have, trying to do our best. Right. This is the fail to plan, plan to fail type of situation where this person wasn't failing to plan necessarily. The plan was going to fail regardless.
This also is not the fault of the person either, because there's conditioning here.
Right.
Meaning we've all been conditioned to believe a certain way about where we're supposed to put money and what that money is supposed to do for us over time, and the position we're supposed to be placed in once that money matures. Yeah. And so the contributing to a retirement account when I am $50,000+, $80,000+ in debt, we've been conditioned to believe that's what we're supposed to do, right? When in fact, there's a whole lot of pieces and points here that need to be addressed before we basically putting ourselves in a much more positive cash flow position before we can take action. Because all we're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul. And you're right, the vehicles that are available to the average American to be able to prepare for retirement, those vehicles are flawed. And we're not taught about the flaws within those vehicles. And because the vehicles are flawed, it causes us to put money in a place where it doesn't serve us.
The HR department would have just let this person continue on like this until they had come up against their retirement, or something happened in their life for their health and they couldn't work anymore. And they said, okay, well, let's take a look at that retirement, because I put in what everyone said I should put in every single month. And now here I am at that ripe old age, and they go, oh yeah, sorry, you didn't win. This isn't a game. This isn't a maybe you get to. This should be a plan, and you should absolutely know. That's how I feel about it.
I didn't have much of a retirement left. I couldn't even borrow against it. And it was just something that I never foresaw, ever.
Saying that it's not fair doesn't make it any better.
Right.
Realizing or having it acknowledged that it's not going to be fair does not make it any better dealing with that type of situation. And some of those people are dealing with it today because what they had planned for was even in the 90s, and now they're just now retiring going, this market sucks.
Your water bill goes up, your utility bill goes up, your gas bill goes up, your food goes up.
I don't like it.
Retirees are getting stressed because their savings are not producing any income for them.
Not a vibe.
So they're all wondering where they're going to make ends meet.
0 stars.
I'm a survivor, and if I have to downsize into a tent, I will.
Do not recommend.
But others, they're at poverty level.
They don't have a choice.
And I go back to conditioning. It's conditioning, meaning no one's, when we took that job with that Fortune 500 company and they gave us this stack of paperwork to fill out to start doing your 401k, no one stood at the front of the room and said, this vehicle that you're about to, start contributing to blindly is not efficient. No one said
Yeah.
that.
And
So
nobody was sitting in the room going, yes, 401k meeting.
Right.
Let's go.
So we were there to receive information. We were there to be coached. We were there to be guided. And we were guided into this situation. We were coached into this situation.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It starts as a corporate tax dodge.
People in the mutual fund industry realized that there was a huge opportunity here, right? They could make the mutual funds the very foundation of the 401k plans.
In order to get their offerings placed on employer 401k menus, mutual funds rely on brokers and plan administrators. In return, the brokers ask for a payment or revenue share. It's a kind of pay-to-play arrangement, or as some say, a kickback, that adds another layer of costs to retirement plans.
The money managers always want more, and that's natural enough in most businesses, but it's not right for this business.
Bogle gave me an example. Assume you're invested in a fund that is earning a gross annual return of 7%. They charge you a 2% annual fee. Over 50 years, the difference between your net of 5%, the red line, and what you would have made without fees, the green line, is staggering. Bogle says you've lost almost 2/3 of what you would have had.
What do you say to that?
I think he's I'm not going to second guess him. I'm going to say that I think that there's a role for actively managed product in the marketplace.
But that is second guessing him.
I think there's a role for active management in portfolios.
What we're talking about is being able to produce income, not just have a place where you can park your money and make more than it was currently making.
Just a reminder that what we were talking about in these last two examples was not eliminate your debt and then start saving for retirement, because time is your greatest asset.
Yeah, it's all about compound cycles. We're all born with around 15 compound cycles.
What happens in the fund business is the magic of compound returns is overwhelmed by the tyranny of compounding costs. It's a mathematical fact. There's no getting around it. The fact that we don't look at it, too bad for us.
What I have a hard time understanding is that 2% fee that I might pay to an actively managed mutual fund is going to really have a great impact on my future retirement savings.
I want to get your reaction to an example that Jack Bogle gave us, and that is that if you invest over a 50-year investing lifetime in a mutual fund, making 7% a year on average, but you're paying 2% in fee for that, that 2% will erode something like 2/3 of your gains.
Do you really want to invest in a system where you put up 100% of the capital, you the mutual fund shareholder, you take 100% of the risk, and you get 30% of the return?
So the lower fees relative to any given investment will always result in higher accumulation.
But is his example correct? I mean, it's shocking that you would be giving up 2/3 of your...
So I don't know the math behind the example.
But does
that
it sound
you're
correct?
Citing. It sounds high.
That 2% will erode 2/3.
It sounds high.
But you're paying 2% in fee.
Any given investment will always result in higher accumulation.
It's shocking that
Any given, it sounds high. It sounds high. It sounds high.
What is this about?
Yeah.
This is about taking control. And that means it's about getting self-directed. What are those vehicles, those tools you're using to generate wealth? And in the process of generating wealth, what you're also doing is you're gaining more control over your time. If you were to look in the mirror, who right now controls your time? Who tells you when you can or can't take off? And then the last part is freedom. Putting yourself in a position to where you can actually have true freedom. And freedom is a very, very simple, there's a very simple definition around freedom. It's being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, whenever you want. It's about control. If there's no other takeaway here, I would just want to make sure that people paying attention to those examples understand this. It is difficult to do velocity banking without cash flow. So you may have to take some drastic measures to be able to create that cash flow. Once that cash flow is created, here's what most of us do. That extra money is sitting in some checking account somewhere waiting to be spent. You have to be able to get your cash flow into a position.
Account?
Right. A high yield savings account making you 3%, like awesome. but you have to get your money working for you. Again, treat it as an employee. You have to get your money working for you. Put your money in a position to where it can build money passively. 3% is great, but 11, 12, 13, 14% tax-free is much better.
How do I become self-directed? Like, how do I get on board with this movement? Hey, before you go, we want to remind you that becoming fully self-directed means gaining complete control over your wealth, time, and freedom. It's not just an idea. It's a framework, a mindset, and the power to make informed decisions to secure your future. Being here means you're taking those steps, and we want to thank you for allowing us to guide you. We believe that we grow farther and faster when we grow together. So tune in next time and tell a friend to tell a friend. We've helped thousands of people just like you start their journey to financial freedom. And if they can do it, you can too. And if you're ready to learn more, we got you. Get a head start by grabbing these 2 free books. But how do they get them, Donnell?
Head over to my website where you'll have access to a few things. A ton of free resources, case studies, and over 100 5-star reviews from people just like you. And in 15 minutes, we can explore what's possible for you. So don't wait.
Invest in what you want, when you want.
But first, let us help you get self-directed.